Hi and welcome to another episode of the Tank Diaries. We're well into Series 2 and we're very fortunate enough today to have Adam King from Media Lounge with us. Adam, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So you have quite an extraordinary business as agencies go, because you've built in, you're in your 9th year at the moment, aren't you?
Yep.
2009 you started,
Yep.
You're in your 9th year, you have 28 members of staff?
27, yeah.
27 members of staff. And that is a sizable agency. Outside of London, where we're used to seeing these big agencies, but down in Bournemouth and, and surrounding town cities and Brighton and places like that, 27 is a serious company, isn't it?
It depends what your frame of reference is, I suppose. I mean, we've always been round the corner from someone like Red Web, who are always that monster that have got loads and loads of employees. But yeah, I guess there are lots of pocket micro agencies in Bournemouth, which we were one of, and we've just grown over time. To service the needs of the clients, and that's where we are now.
So how did you start the business? So most people have a little bit of a story behind why they took the jump to running their own company. What was it that made you sort of go, right, I'm going to go out and do this alone?
We started with another business.
Right.
So I was working in car sales previously, locally, and I went on holiday. It rained every day, and I just thought, why haven't the hotel got some low-cost umbrellas that you can just walk around the area with, if you left them somewhere, they'd be branded up, so they'd advertise the hotel. And then I spent 2 weeks laying on a beach when it was sunny, and the other time getting wet, exploring the area, thinking about how that could be used in the UK. And then I came back from my holiday all excited, quit my job, and decided to import umbrellas for a living.
Right.
So not an agency background at all. Started a company called Jolly Brolly, ran that for a few years, and that's where I met Mike, my business partner now, who built the first website for Jolly Brolly. And at the time, with his current company, just called me up one day and said, would we like to do something together? And that's where we formed Media Lounge.
Okay, so is Jolly Brolly still going, or is that? I mean, how many companies have you got now? Is it Media Lounge?
So Jolly Brolly was where it started.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mike was involved in that and creating the website for it. We then formed Media Lounge together. We started off as a full service agency, if that for want for a better word.
Yeah, sure.
We then kind of started to streamline what we were doing, because we wanted to be more of a specialist in one sector. So we chose e-commerce. Then we kind of streamlined again and chose Magento, which is a software platform. And the Jolly Brolly element is obviously still run today as a separate company. But it has a lot of weight and credibility, because we're an e-commerce agency that also run our own e-commerce store. So Jolly Brolly is predominantly sold online to retail customers.
So you get to say to clients, proof's in the pudding.
We do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. Lead by example.
Yeah, and it's a great testing bed, so we can do, if something new or a new feature comes out. I think Instagram today released the shoppable posts. So we've already got that running on our store. So we can then go to clients and say, look, this is the effect that we're having on our own store, or the result we've got of our own store. If we did this for you, this was the sort of effect or result we could predict.
Right.
So it's a good testing bed. Not everything works, so it's good to also find out what doesn't work, so we can steer clients away from that as well.
So let's go back a little bit to the start of Media Lounge. So it was you and Mike, and you started it all off, and he built the first website. So how did you progress from there? What was the next stage of your journey? Because obviously the people watching these videos, I like to hope that the people watching these are trying to draw real information on. Struggle is probably the wrong word, because some people struggle for it, but starting a business is hard work, and I like people to be honest about it. So how did it all start off for you guys when you started, when you were growing the team at the very beginning?
It was just me and Mike to start with. Mike was working from home. I, with Jolly Brolly, had offices in Portsmouth, or shared offices in Portsmouth, and I remember the day we bought our first Mac for Mike, because he was using his own computer at home, and we spent probably the best part of half a week researching where's the cheapest place to buy it from, who's going to got certain promotions on at certain times of the day or month or whatever it was.
We didn't have Black Friday back then.
Didn't have that sort of thing. Dixon's were still trading at that time. And that's where we ended up buying it. Yeah, we ended up buying it from Dixon's, even though it was, fading out of its existence. It was the cheapest place to buy the Mac at the time. So we thought it was a huge investment. I think it was about £800 at the time. And again, that is it's money that you've got to find to start the business. So we did that. We managed to sell a few more websites, and then we moved into some offices in the student.
The Enterprise Pavilion at AUB?
Yeah, it was one at Lansdowne at the time. So it was like they had very sort of small offices that you could rent out for startups. And Mike was getting a little bit frustrated working at home, as you do. I was out a lot kind of selling the website, so that was my role really, more to do the sales element of it. But we thought that by having an office it would kill a couple of birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So they're very low cost. I mean, I think that's probably one of the things, buying the Mac and looking at the office, is just keeping an eye on those initial costs. We spent half a week probably saving about £100, but at the time, £100 to save was £100 we could have spent somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it was worth our time doing that because we wanted to fork out as little as possible in starting the business and use everything we could to help us grow, I suppose.
Yeah. So when did your first member of staff come on board? Saving you.
It wasn't very long after. Probably about 3.5 months into it.
Wow.
We primarily started with a technology that Apple have since, called Flash, that they don't support.
Yeah.
And Mike could do the design and the development in that format. We took on another designer that could also, or trained up to learn Flash as well. He's still with us today, CJ. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really nice story, and he's part of the family really.
Yeah.
He came in and I don't think he had any web design experience, but he was a hugely talented drawer and artist. Had some Photoshop experience, but had never designed for web, and just grew and learnt from Mike, and is now our senior designer at Media Lounge.
So along the way, you must have made mistakes.
Yep.
It's all right. I'm not going to put you on the spot too much, but we like people to just be honest about some of the things. You don't have to go into any real detail, but are there any particular points where you're like, if I could advise somebody who's starting a company now, don't go back and do this, or try and do more of that?
When I first started, I was also advised to get a CRM system. Obviously, technology's moved on a huge amount now, but someone said you need a database to store all your customers and make sure you've got an accurate record. And I went to a local IT company who said they could build a CRM from scratch for me in Access, which was a Microsoft package. I paid a huge amount for it. I don't think I put one customer's information in there. So it just got built and put on the side. What I ended up using was an accounts package, which did everything I needed. It kept all their details in there, all their order history. I didn't have anybody at the beginning I could rely on for information and help, and made a few decisions that didn't work out for me. There's a danger, isn't there, in any business that you don't plan well enough to foresee how busy you could be, but then that obviously requires finances and resources to make sure you've got the software or the infrastructure to support that kind of growth. Or the other is, the way we've done things is all very organically. We could have taken on some clients at certain points in our business career, but they would have meant we had to scale up for that client, which meant if we lost that client, we'd have had to scale down.
Yeah.
So we've always kind of grown organically. We've never wanted to be the agency to go after the big names just to go on the portfolio page. We'd rather keep working with the kind of real retailers that have got real growth ambitions and potential.
It's very difficult. Your industry, and no offence to anybody who thinks I'm being unfair, but your industry or the digital sector, like several others, do suffer from the glitz and glamour a bit in certain companies, don't they? They think that because they're working with, and I'm not going to pick names out, but let's say big banks or insurance companies, the bigger the better.
Sportswear brands, things like that.
Sportswear brands, etc., etc. And actually, quite often that can be more dangerous, as you said, because they feel that the real value to their company is that they've got this brand that they can shout about. And actually, it's the quality of the product and the quality of the staff's lives in the business.
And if you look at those brands, they put pockets of work with tons of different agencies. So it's not like you're exclusively saying you work with that one brand. That they'll work with 100 agencies across the country on tiny little projects. So, you know, are you really able to say that you are, you know, one of the partners they work with when potentially you're one of hundreds that they work with?
So you're able to mentally buy yourself out of that at an early stage.
Yeah, and other agencies that Mike has been involved in, obviously his experience has been great to bring to Media Lounge and collaborate together, because, you know, he's been in an agency where he's seen that scaling up and scaling down just to service the needs of the client. So, you know, if you've got a client that, or one of our rules, I think, is, you know, if it's going to be more than 20% of our turnover, we probably wouldn't do it.
So when Media Lounge is now at 27, do you have any idea what you're looking to do with the business? Do you know what the future is of the company in 5-10 years' time? I mean, no one can predict where the digital sector is going.
Yep.
That's the reality of it.
Fairly comfortable in e-commerce. You know, there's still a huge shift from traditional retail to online. There's a bit of a shift back where you have this kind of bricks and clicks. So, you know, traditional retail propping up or supporting online as well. There's a big shift now for business to business moving into e-commerce, because previously they would have had reps and distributors and distribution chains, where now they're looking to sell directly to the consumer themselves. So I think the future's bright for e-commerce. For us, I think team size-wise, we said this when we were 3, we said this when we were 7, we're saying it now to you, but we probably won't want to grow much more over the next few years, maybe a cap of 30 people. Not that there's a reason for that cap, but there's nothing wrong with running a well-run, profitable business in an industry that you enjoy, where people enjoy coming to work, rather than always trying to accelerate and do more, turn over more, make more profit. And, you know, I think that's probably one of the things I don't like about a lot of modern businesses, is they're just in for making as much profit as they can, be that selling a substandard product or substandard service, because it's all about the figures and the money for them. So I think having a service that you can be proud of, and a business that, you know, is the right size for you to operate, and be profitable is perfect. So if we can maintain those things, I think we'll be happy. You obviously are still enjoying this, aren't you, after 9 years? I love the role. I love the company, and, you know, I get to work in the building that we're in. I share offices with people I've known for 20 years, who also run their own businesses. And Mike's one of my best friends. Everybody we work with, you know, it sounds cheesy as you like, but they do feel like a family. I spend more time with them generally than I do with my family. We're very considerate about who we take on, and, you know, are they going to fit in culturally? I think we normally hire for people more than skill in the first instance. You know, are they going to fit in? Are they, you know, they're going to enjoy working here? And we've tried to create a really nice, relaxed, chilled environment for people to enjoy coming to work. Like you said, I mean, you're going to spend 65-70% of your day there, so you probably want people to enjoy coming. So, you know, we try and do things like flexi time, so not everybody's got to sit in the traffic and fight their way in. You know, you can take a break when you want. You don't need to wait for a school bell to ring, or you know, the end of the day for people to have to bust out the door at 5:30. If you want to go a bit early because you've got a haircut or a dentist appointment, it should be relaxed and enjoyable for everyone, really. And I think if everybody enjoys it, then it's going to make it more enjoyable for you. Adam, thank you so much for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Cheers. And look forward to having you back in maybe next year and come and talk to us, tell us about how your journey changed. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Like you said, there'll always be someone that's quicker, better, faster, stronger, whatever it is. So Daft Punk song, isn't it? Oh, was it? Yeah. Really, it was you? And you're here in the afternoon, sort of just, is this your job to follow him around and carry his bags? No. That's the job I'm passionate about. So, you don't have to do part 2.